What's up? This is Leah Kate, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Leah, I'm super excited to finally be talking to you. Your name has been back and forth on my Spotify throughout this entire year, and I'm so happy that it's starting to pop off. I know you've been doing this for some time, and like the music fans are starting to like really get involved with your music. Congratulations with that, by the way, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's definitely been a long time. So many years of nobody ever listening to my music or caring. And now it's really cool to have songs with hundreds of millions of streams. I don't really believe it, but I'm like, okay, well, that's.
Now, I want to dive in and talk about the most recent single, Hot All the Time. Not only because it's such an incredible track. Again, I'm not surprised that you're releasing something like this, but um, I love the fact that it feels very nostalgic. It gives me this vibe like I've heard you for years. And it's such a cool feeling. Can you talk to me about that initial process of starting to work on the song and also working with Andrew Goldstein, one of my favorite songwriters?
Oh my God, he's the best. I love working with him. We're actually planning a trip right now to go like make music in Hawaii together. So expect
Yes.
a lot. We have a banger coming soon too. He's like my favorite collaborator, one of my favorite collaborators. He's so fire. But yeah, it's basically, it feels like the new era of Leah. It's, very different. It's like the closest thing I've ever had to a ballad, but like the concept is still very me. It's, something I've been wanting to write about for a while of like when, a relationship ends and it's maybe not on your terms or it is whatever, and you just want to feel hot and your best self and confident and like you're thriving so that person can be like, oh shit, I'm and like I feel like it's such like a simple yet relatable feeling that maybe I think so many people can connect with. And yeah, it's honestly my favorite song I've ever done, so I'm really happy you like it.
And it's cool that you not only Andrew Goldstein, but you have Sarah Hudson on board as well as a co-writer. Having such incredible talent, being able to write with you, how does that? First of all, like with this song in particular, like how did that help you become an even better songwriter and be able to explain yourself a little more in your lyrics? And at the same time, like how do you feel that you've helped them be better songwriters because you're bringing in something new, something fresh to them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always like, like Sarah is obviously iconic. Like she's written like the Dua hits and massive songs. So it's different working with like a new artist, It's like you have to then try and like break the artist. Whereas like if you're writing for a bigger artist, it'll probably whatever get so many streams, but it's kind of like a different challenge. So hopefully that was a nice challenge for Sarah and Andrew and everyone I did the song with because I'm a newer artist, of course. I have a massive hit, but I'm still, developing. And yeah, for me, I mean, it's just crazy like getting in the room with people that I used to like message years ago. Like I have DMs from Sarah. I was like so embarrassed when we worked together because I had like hit her up so many years ago, being like, I'm in London, like I'd love to work with you. You're, such an inspiration from like 2017. So, and I was like so thirsty in my messages. I was like, woo, and like I'm so embarrassed, but it's crazy like when you actually like work with those people because I have known who Sarah is for so long. She's written some of my favorite songs, same with Andrew and everyone I did the song with. So, it's pretty crazy, but they're so normal and nice and great, and making the song was so easy and awesome. So, yeah.
You give us vulnerability and empowerment in your music. So I'm curious, like how you go about as far as doing that when you're writing. Has that always been easy and natural for you to do, or has that been something that took you some time to like feel comfortable in doing so?
Feel comfortable with what exactly? Like,
Just being vulnerable with your music as
mm,
you're writing lyrics, knowing that people are going to be listening to it.
definitely. I, would be like embarrassed to say certain things years ago, or just even to put out music alone. I was like afraid and didn't want to always, I was like, oh, this person will know it's about them. And now I'm like shameless, savage, don't care. I'm gonna write to like the bone what really happened. And I think that's when it really started to connect. Like my most honest song was the friendship, and that was like a true story. Like every single lyric was like real, and it like blew up, and I was like, okay, so people want honesty and can connect with the truth. So I just like 10 things I hate about you is like literally like actually started as a list of like I need to move on from this guy, and I like wrote everything I hate about him down just to like remind myself like he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, and like look what happened to that song. So I'm like, we're gonna be honest in the songs. That's how it's gonna work.
Damn. From a checklist to a number one single. Like that's incredible.
Thank you.
Now, by the
Mhm.
time by the time this interview is out, your new EP, Alive and Unwell, will be already out. I'm curious about the creative process with this EP because not only do you have people like Sarah Hudson and Andrew Goldstein, you also have like a lot of other collaborators, Maddie being one of them that you co-wrote with, but also Mike Wise is also a producer on this EP. Having so many different iconic people, how were you able to go into these different sessions but still give us this cohesive body of work?
Probably because it's me, the common thread writing all the songs. So everything feels, like it's cohesive because, like, I don't know, my storytelling and songwriting is very, like, distinct and, like, I like to write in a very specific way. And I like my sound being a specific way. So, I think it's cool to, like, have different collaborators because everyone adds in a different flavor and, like, a different vibe. But at the end of the day, it's like me in the room writing the songs and, making them how I want. So I think that's why it's probably cohesive. Um, but yeah, everything has a different, take or flavor, and that's the beauty of getting to work with new people. They bring in new vibes, and yeah.
When you talk about you have your own writing style, um, you also seem to have your own kind of cadence when you're creating your music. Do you have this cadence in mind when you're writing music, or is this something that kind of appears or reveals itself when you're in the production or in the recording process of the music?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on the song and like what it's about and like the emotion behind it. I do like obviously have a style that I sing in, but like if something's more angry or like sad toned or whatever, it probably depends on like the mood of the song. But there is like a way that I do deliver everything. That's probably pretty cohesive. But yeah, I guess depending on the mood, it can change. So probably, when we're in the recording process, it comes down to that.
With the songs on this EP, which song do you feel challenged you the most vocally, and at the same time challenged you the most in the writing process?
Vocally hot all the time. It's like the lowest I can sing and the highest I can sing. Like literally the verse is so low. I'm like, oh my God. And that bridge, break your heart like you've broken mine. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna belt that tomorrow and it's scary as shit. So that one's really hard. And then the hardest writing, I would say was, let me think, Never Been Better, which is the outro song. And like we just like rewrote the chorus like a million times because we had like I love you haven't heard it, but it's like I've never been better. It's like the big like whatever. Um and it's super catchy, but like we needed this chorus to like be perfect and we rewrote it so many times. So that one just because, like 10 things like wrote itself in like an hour. Like Never Been Better was like we redid a lot of times. I don't know why, but it's a good one. I hope you like it.
Speaking of 10 things, the fact that that song went viral the way that it did, and it pretty much put your name out there for a lot of new music fans and music lovers, knowing that that song was having that traction that it did it have any impact moving forward on the music that you were going to write or release? Because, this was obviously something that the fans were gravitating towards.
Yeah, it definitely put a lot of pressure on me because I was like, oh my God, I just had a huge hit. Like now what do I do to follow it up? Um, I think Twinkle Twinkle Little Bitch came right after, and that was just kind of like I didn't write that after 10 things. I kind of just had it and it was kind of like a joke and like fun. Now I don't really connect with it as much because like I'm in my like hot all the time era and like it feels very different and like that song, whatever. But yeah, I mean I was like, okay, people like the very brutally honest lyrics, pop rock, like they clearly connect with songs about relationships and ripping guys apart, which I love to do in my songs. So, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna keep in this lane, but I also want things to feel fresh and different. So, I never want to make like the same song over and over again. But I was like, okay, I'll stay in this world at least for a bit because people seem to connect with it. So, yeah.
So, well, I'm super excited for this EP to drop, and I'm super excited to get to see how much you're going to evolve in over the years. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. The next time we do this, we'll be in LA in person because
Yes.
I would definitely want to talk to you more about your creative process. But thank you so much for taking the time and enjoy your trip.
Thank you so much for taking the time as well. And yeah, thank you so much.